Today, we're going to do something a little different. We're not just going to talk about emotions, we're going to talk about building them. We are diving into the architecture of emotional intelligence, and we're going to treat it like a structure that you can actually design, build, and make stronger.
So, let me ask you something right off the bat. Are you the architect of your own emotions? I mean, really think about it. Are you actively constructing your responses, or do they just kind of happen to you? Well, in this explainer, we're going to see how you can grab the blueprints and start taking control.
Okay, here is our blueprint for today. First, we'll establish you as the architect. Then, we'll lay down the foundation, which is all about knowing yourself. After that, we'll put up the pillars of managing yourself. Then we'll build the structure for connecting with others. And finally, we'll step back and take a look at the whole emotional blueprint.
So what exactly is emotional intelligence, or EI for short? Well, think of it as the skill of building and managing your own emotional world so you can achieve your goals. It's not just about having feelings, it's about building with them on purpose.
And that brings us to our first section, the architect of you. Because honestly, mastering emotional intelligence is probably one of the most important projects you will ever work on.
You know, we spend so much of our lives learning things, right? Acquiring knowledge. But real success, it often comes down to something else entirely. It's about how you handle pressure, how you deal with frustration, how you manage what you feel.
Every great building starts with a rock-solid foundation, and for our emotional architecture, that foundation is knowing yourself. Without this piece, believe me, everything else is just unstable. Now, this foundation is built on 3 cornerstones. First, you've got emotional self-awareness. That's just being able to recognize your own emotions and see how they affect you. Second is an accurate self-assessment, knowing what you're good at and maybe what you're not so good at. And third, self-confidence, a real, solid sense of your own self-worth.
It's so true, isn't it? Trying to manage your own reactions or understand other people without first understanding yourself, it's like building a house on shaky ground. It just won't work. Self-awareness is the bedrock. It's what makes all your emotional strength possible.
So, a quick question for you. When was the last time you actually paused and put a specific name to the emotion you were feeling? I don't mean just, I feel bad or I'm stressed. I mean, were you feeling disappointed, anxious, frustrated? That simple little act of naming it, that's the very first step.
Okay, once that foundation is set, we can start putting up the pillars. This next part is all about managing your internal world. This is where self-awareness really gets put into action.
And there are 2 main pillars that hold up this whole internal structure. The first one is self-management. That's all about controlling your impulses. The second is motivation. That's about finding and using your internal drive. Self-management is that tiny little space between a feeling and a reaction. It's the thing that stops you from hitting send on that angry email. It's that crucial pause that lets you think before you act, turning a potentially disruptive impulse into something way more constructive. And the other pillar, motivation, well, that's your engine. And we're not just talking about a drive for money or a fancy title, we're talking about a genuine passion to achieve things for their own sake. It's that resilience that keeps you going, especially after a setback.
All right, our foundation is laid, the pillars are up. Now it's time to build the rest of the structure, the part that connects with the outside world. This is where your internal work starts to show up in your relationships.
A huge piece of this is empathy. And it is so important to understand the difference between empathy and sympathy. Sympathy is feeling for someone. You see their problem from the outside. But empathy, that's feeling with someone. It's the skill of trying to see things from their perspective, from the inside. And let me tell you, it is an absolute game changer.
And empathy is basically the gateway to all these powerful social skills. This isn't just about being popular or being a smooth talker. It's about being effective. It's your ability to influence, to communicate clearly, to manage disagreements, to collaborate, and ultimately to build really strong, meaningful bonds with people.
So when it comes to connecting with others, it really boils down to 2 key skills, empathy and social skill. These are what form the visible structure of your emotional intelligence. They're how you apply all that internal awareness to the world around you.
And now for the final view. Let's step back and take a good look at the complete emotional blueprint that we've just designed together.
Here it is, the complete architecture. It all starts with that solid foundation of self-awareness. On top of that, you build the pillars of self-management and motivation. And that strong internal core is what supports the external structure of empathy and social skills. You see, each stage builds right on top of the last one.
And if you take away only one thing from all of this, let it be this. Emotional intelligence is not some fixed trait that you either have or you don't. It is a structure, it's a set of skills, and it is something you can absolutely build, one block, one skill, one conscious choice at a time.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. You are the architect. You have the blueprint. The only question left is, what is the first block you will lay today?